Hi everyone. Welcome to English 231, World Literature 1. We're going to take a few minutes today to go over the major points on the syllabus. But make sure that you study the syllabus as it's posted on Canvas, because everything in the syllabus applies to you personally. And I'm only going to hit some of the most important points in this video. First of all, that's me. It's pretty much what I look like these days. My hair is a little bit shorter right now, but that changes. And I wear glasses. But other than that, that's what I look like. So if you see me anywhere, make sure to stop me and say hello and introduce yourself. I always enjoy meeting my online students in person when I can. My name is Professor Deborah Oakey, but call me Deb. I'm just not that formal a person, as you're going to see as we proceed through the course. And I really prefer that my students call me by my first name. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can call me Professor Oakey or Professor Deb or whatever you feel comfortable with. But I was never Miss Oakey, and thank God I'm no longer Mrs. Oakey, so neither of those really work very well. Now on the syllabus you'll see information about my office and so forth, but the truth is that for health reasons, most semesters I'm not on campus at all. So really the best way to contact me is to send me an email from an account other than Canvas at deborah.oakey@csn.edu. Now I don't use Canvas email. So if you email me through Canvas, I won't get the email. Instead, use whatever email account you check daily. Your Gmail account, your Yahoo account, your iCloud account, whatever works best for you is fine with me. But use that program and email me from there to the address that's listed here. Now my email address is on the home page of our Canvas site. It is of course on the print syllabus, and it will appear at the end of every video. So you shouldn't have any problems keeping track of that email address. You should always be able to find it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about course requirements. Now there are the department requirements listed on the syllabus, but they're fairly general. Let's talk specifically about what you'll be doing for this class. To earn a D or above in this course, you'll demonstrate the ability to produce 2 3- to 5-page analytical essays in MLA style, which you should have learned in English 100, 101, or 113. Discussing aspects of literature that are covered in the course. Those are the 2 exams. Exam 1 is a little bit before midterm, I believe, and it covers everything up through Medea. And then the second exam will be due during finals week, and it covers everything from Medea to the end of the course. And we're going to talk about those a little bit more in a few moments. Identify on objective quizzes your familiarity with important parts of the piece of literature itself, as well as information that will be presented from literary critics in supplied videos that will be posted on Canvas each week. And participate in online discussions. The participation in online discussion is very important because that will help you a great deal in preparing for the exams. Okay, let's look at the materials of instruction. You'll need the Norton Anthology of World Literature, the 3rd edition, and Volume A should look more or less like that. Volume B looks more or less like that. And then you also need the Norton Critical Edition of Othello. Now, the reason that you need these specific books is because to earn full credit on the discussion boards, you have to include the page numbers of the examples that you discuss, and we'll talk about that in a bit. In order for the page numbers to be helpful in helping each other prepare for the exam, they all have to be the same page numbers from the same editions of the same book. Okay, let's talk about evaluation, which I know is something that's very important to all of us. First of all, the quizzes will be worth 30% of the grade, and they'll include questions on major plot points, characters, relationships among characters, very, very major points of the assigned literature, as well as on information that you'll be given from literary critics, and that will be presented through videos on the Canvas website. All the quizzes will be taken directly on Canvas, and the links to the quizzes will be included on each weekly assignment list. The quizzes are 5 questions, and you'll have 10 minutes to complete the quiz unless you have an accommodation from the Disabilities Resource Center allowing you more time, in which case you'll have 20 minutes to complete the quiz. But there's something very important to keep in mind about the quizzes. You can only access them one time. So make sure that you've studied all the material before you click on the link, because you won't be able to get into it if you go to the quiz and then for some reason can't complete it. You'll just be shut out. Quizzes will be due, as everything else will, at 9 a.m. on the Tuesday of the week that the assignment is due. And at precisely 9 a.m., the quiz is locked down. So if you don't have the quiz finished by 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning, you'll be shut out and you won't be able to take it. Now, I don't accept late work, including quizzes, unless, of course, you have some kind of a documented serious illness, hospitalization, or, God forbid, incarceration, and that has to be of yourself, not one of your family members. Basically, what it boils down to is the only reason that I'll accept late work is if it's impossible for you to get to a computer. And these days, it's pretty rare that people can't get to a computer. If you're in the hospital, I know from experience that it can be very difficult to use the internet in a hospital. And some wards won't even let you have access to a computer, even if you have your own laptop. Obviously, you can't have access to a computer, at least I assume you can't if you're in jail. Okay? So, but any other incident or experience that you encounter shouldn't prevent you from accessing a computer. And one of the advantages of taking an online course is that you can take it from anywhere. So, say, for example, you travel a great deal for business, you can still take the course no matter where you are. But of course, what that also means is since you can do the work no matter where you are, you're pretty much expected to do the work no matter where you are. Okay, the quizzes constitute 30% of your course grade because it's very important that you complete all the materials and study them. Another 30% of your course grade will be based on your participation on discussion boards. And the way that will work is I'll present you with several topics that you can choose to discuss, and you only have to post to one of the boards each week. You don't have to answer all the questions or post to all the boards. I try to provide more than one topic because, for one thing, with the number of people we have in the class, if we were all posting on one topic, we'd kind of run out of new things to add, so that would be kind of a waste of time. And you can choose from whichever topic appeals to you. And the discussion board questions are set up specifically to align with the questions on the exam. Now, we will have exam reviews before each of the 2 exams, but if you read what other people have posted on the discussion boards, and the discussion boards are available constantly. I never take them offline. You can go back and read what people have written on the discussion boards, and that should really help you prepare for the exam. The discussion boards basically take place of the class discussions that I always held when this course met live. So the discussion boards are very valuable. Now, your postings will be graded on depth of thought and completeness of answer. But this is very important. Completeness of answer includes just a few things. First of all, you have to address the topic that you're posting about. You need to give one specific example from the literature that demonstrates that aspect, and it's almost always possible. Sometimes in terms of how women are demonstrated, it's not, because what you could mainly say about it is that they're pretty much left out of the literature, because that's kind of a major point up to, when we read Canterbury Tales, we start seeing women more. Otherwise, I expect you to give a specific example, but just one. Length is not the issue here. It shouldn't be necessary for you to write long 5, 6, 7 paragraph entries to the discussion board. You basically want to say, for example, that one of the traits of heroes in the Epic of Gilgamesh is that they eat bananas. Okay? And then you will go to the literature and cite one example of when they're eating bananas and provide the page numbers for it. And we're going to have a separate video on how to participate in the discussion boards, but that's what you'll be doing. But you have to have, obviously, a response as to how the characters demonstrate bravery. You have to have a specific example from the literature, and you have to have the page numbers that you took the example from in order to receive full credit for the discussion board postings. You have to post to the discussion boards by 9 a.m. on the due date, which would be Tuesday morning of the week in question. And while the discussion boards will remain open, the postings are all timed. And anything that's posted after 9 a.m. on that Tuesday morning, even if it's posted at 9:01 a.m., won't count towards your grade. And as I said, the participation on discussion boards is 30% of the course grade. And the unit exams are worth 40%, and there are 2 of them. They're posted on Canvas. Actually, the syllabus says that they'll be posted at least 1 week in advance, but actually they're posted at the beginning of the period when we study each unit. So, for example, the first exam is posted for this week. So you have the exam to look at, so you know what you should be focusing on in terms of the exam in studying the literature. And you'll be given a list on the exam of 5 to 8 questions, and you choose one question to respond to. Just one. Not all of them. You choose one. And what you will do is you will write a literary analysis in MLA style with MLA citations for all summaries, paraphrases, and quotes, and a works cited page. Now, this is something I need to emphasize. I don't know what people are teaching about MLA in 100 and 101, but what causes students more problems than anything else in doing well on the exam is they seem to be under the impression that you only have to have an in-text citation for direct quotes. That's not true. You have to have an MLA in-text citation for anything that you summarize and paraphrase as well. And citations don't carry over from one paragraph to another. So let's say in one paragraph you summarize actions from the Iliad, you have to have a citation for that summary. And then even if the next paragraph also talks about certain events in the Iliad, you have to have a citation in that paragraph too. The citations don't carry over from one paragraph to the next. And if you don't demonstrate that you know how to use MLA well enough to avoid plagiarism, then you can't do very well on the exam. In fact, if you don't use in-text citations, or if you only use in-text citations for direct quotes, the best grade you can get on an exam is 70%. So if you don't understand MLA, I recommend that you work with the Writing Center or some resource that you can get your hands on and learn MLA. Now, I do provide a full works cited list for everything that's used for each exam. So you don't have to actually make up the works cited entries. You can just copy and paste them, as we'll go over. But you do have to know how to do the in-text citations, so make sure you do. You will submit your exam by the due date through Canvas. The exam has to be completed in Microsoft Word. The reason for that is because I grade papers in Microsoft Word, and if I can't open your paper and grade it in Microsoft Word, it earns a 0. You're given the exam 8 weeks before it's due, and you're supplied with at least a week or two where all you'll be doing is working on writing the exam. So, since Microsoft Word is available on every computer on every campus of CSN, it's also available at some businesses such as Federal Express and Office Depot. I believe it's available at public libraries. You should be able to get somewhere to type your paper in Microsoft Word, considering how much time you're given to do it. So you don't have to buy the program, but the papers do have to be written in Microsoft Word. There will be a video that will present how to submit the paper to Canvas, and we will have a review for each exam. Okay? But you can start working on at least getting notes and thoughts together almost from the very first week, or the second week actually, of the course. So you have plenty of time to work on the exams. Any student who doesn't submit both exams can't pass the class. You have to turn in both exams in order to pass the class. And as I said, the exams are worth 40% of your course grade. Okay, let's take a very quick look at some of the course policies. There's a policy for students with disabilities, and the CSN policy is written on your syllabus. Something that's very important to note is that the accommodations that are supplied to students with documented disabilities are listed on a form. And you have to email me a copy of that form as an attachment from an account other than Canvas, of course, before you get the accommodations that the DRC approves. So if you take the first week's quizzes and the DRC has said that you're allowed extra time, but you haven't sent me that form, you have to take them using the same amount of time that everybody else does. So if you have a disability, get the form from the Disability Resource Center and email it to me as an attachment to deborah.oakey@csn.edu, of course from an account other than Canvas, and as soon as I receive it, I will set up your quizzes so that you have twice as long to take them. Writing Center, there's a policy there about using the Writing Center. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but you've probably worked with the Writing Center when you were taking English 101. They're a very good group of people, and they can help you with any aspect of your writing. Of course, you can also access Smart Thinking, which does something very similar directly through Canvas if you can't get into any of the campuses. But I I worked for Smart Thinking, and they do a good job. The Writing Center, though, I volunteered in the Writing Center on the Cheyenne campus for a number of years, and I actually think the Writing Center is a better resource if you can get to the Writing Center. Academic integrity and plagiarism. You can look over that in the syllabus. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but you need to become very familiar with it. Basically, in this class, the policy really tends to come into play more in terms of the 2-unit exam papers. And basically, to avoid plagiarism, don't have somebody else write your paper, obviously. I think it would be practically impossible to buy a paper from the internet that answers the questions that I ask. But if you can find one, don't submit it. It's always very easy to detect when you submit a paper that's written from the internet because of the sources they use. They're usually pretty crappy anyway. You want to put most things in your own words. You don't want your paper to be one long string of quotes. Okay? There are times in papers written for literature when a direct quote is a good idea, but not always. Okay? And certainly there isn't any reason to use a direct quote from anything from the literary critics. But you might need to use an occasional quote from the literature itself. But most things should be put in your own words. And always have an in-text citation, and we've gone over that already, but you might want to review that small section on the syllabus, and attach your works cited page to the exam. Okay? And if you do those things, you probably won't have any problems with academic integrity in this class. Now, I do want to call your attention to the policy about course and discussion topics. This course is designed for adults. Okay? And both the literature and the discussion topics may include social, political, religious, and cultural critique. And they also may include discussions that are related to sex or violence. This is college. It's not high school. And you will run into discussions of that sort throughout your college career. But if you find any of those types of discussions offensive, I recommend that you drop this course and see if you can find one that those topics will never be discussed. And in terms of literature, chances are pretty slim that you'll be able to find one. But I just wanted to let you know from the beginning that those things will be discussed. So you need to know about that. Withdrawal. The important thing to know about withdrawal is, first of all, the last day to withdraw from any full semester course is listed there on the syllabus. And second of all, it's the student's responsibility to withdraw from classes. And I think you do that through the registration office. Professors don't have any way to withdraw you from classes. They don't allow us to do that. So if you simply stop participating in the class, you won't get a withdrawal. You'll get an F in the course. Incompletes. Incompletes in this class are very, very rare. In order for me to grant an incomplete, you have to have been earning a passing grade on the last day to withdraw, and you have to have some catastrophic event occur after the last day to withdraw in order for me to grant you an incomplete. Because if it occurs before the last day to withdraw, I would expect you to drop the course rather than ask for an incomplete. The department requires that we set up a contract that states exactly what you're going to do during the extra time that you're granted, and the specific dates that you will complete the work by. And that has to be turned into the department, and if you don't meet those due dates, which I generally let you set, then the incomplete becomes an F. The reason the department does this, and the reason that I grant so few incompletes, is that most students who take an incomplete end up not doing the work, and they end up failing the course anyway. So there has to be really specific circumstances in order for me to consider you for an incomplete, but I judge it on a case-by-case basis. So I'm not telling you that you absolutely can't ask for one. Certainly you may ask for anything, but whether I will consider it or not depends on the factors that I discussed and that are also discussed in the syllabus, so you have that in writing. Late work in using Microsoft Word. And these two things don't necessarily seem to go together, but they do, and you'll see how in a few minutes. I do not accept late work. Period. You do things by the deadline. The deadline is 9 a.m. Tuesday morning every week. And you are expected to do everything that's on a weekly assignment list by that deadline. And to be allowed to turn in work late, you have to have some really, really serious incident occur that prevents you from getting to a computer. Because if you can get to a computer, then not finishing the work is a matter of choice. And I respect your right to make any choice you want to in life. I respect that in everybody. But choices have both benefits and consequences. And, you know, while I may agree with you as a person that other things in your life may need to be a priority, you get the benefits of making them a priority from doing that work. You don't benefit from doing that work or taking care of those situations in this class. So I don't accept late work. And as I've already mentioned, your 2 exams have to be written in Microsoft Word, not anything else. Don't submit them as a PDF file. Don't submit them in simple text. They have to be in Microsoft Word or I won't grade them and you'll earn 0. Okay? Now, the reason that the late work and the Microsoft Word thing are clumped together is, let me tell you what I do in terms of the exams. I download all of the exams at one time from Canvas because that's the way Canvas is set up. I can't even go in and check to see if an exam you submitted is there without downloading the papers from the entire class. I'm not crazy about Canvas, and you'll probably be able to tell that as we go on through the course. So when I download all the papers from Canvas, I do 2 things. First, I check to see whom I didn't get an exam from. And if I don't get your exam, I know that things can get screwed up in technology. I understand that. And if something gets lost, either when you post it to Canvas or when I go to download it from Canvas, if somehow I don't get your exam because of some technological problem, well, that's not your fault. You did everything you were supposed to do. Okay? So if I don't get an exam from you, I will send you an email and I will give you exactly 24 hours to email me the exam as an attachment in Microsoft Word from an account other than Canvas. Okay? And I'll give you a very specific time that you need to email me the exam by. And the reason I give you exactly 24 hours is that in order for grading to be fair and to be the same across the board, everybody should have the same amount of time to complete the work. Because somebody who has 2 weeks more to complete the work should be writing a much better paper. So I only give you 24 hours because if you check your email every day, which as you will see is a course requirement, then 24 hours should give you enough time to check your email, see that you need to submit the exam, and email it to me if you had it done by the deadline. Because this 24-hour second chance grace period thing isn't meant to give you more time to write the paper. It's just meant to make up for any kind of a technical problem that comes up. Now, the second thing I do when I download all the exams is I check to make sure that I can open them in Microsoft Word. And if I can't, I will email you and let you know that I couldn't open your paper in Microsoft Word, and you will be given 24 hours to email it to me as an attachment in Microsoft Word from an account other than Canvas, of course. Oh, you're going to hear that all semester long. And if you do, you'll get full credit. So that's why the late work and using Microsoft Word kind of go together, because I will give you a second chance if I either don't get your exam or I can't open it in Microsoft Word, but you'll only have 24 hours to send it to me. Because that way everybody has pretty much the same amount of time to do the work, and yet they're not penalized because of some kind of a technical problem. Because I don't think you guys should necessarily be held responsible for all kinds of technical problems. Although, of course, since you took an online course, things like my computer broke down or my internet isn't working, that's not really an excuse to turn in work late. Because you chose to take an online course, so you should always have your own computer and your own internet, plus an idea of what you can use as a backup if ever your computer or your internet doesn't work. And both of those technologies, the internet and Microsoft Word, are available on every computer on every CSN campus. And as I said earlier, they're also available at some businesses, like some Federal Express offices, some Office Depot stores I know have computers available for people to use, and of course the public library. So there are lots of computers where you can get internet and Microsoft Word, plus you probably know people that will let you use their computer as a backup if yours breaks down. So my computer crashed, or my internet crashed or isn't working or anything along those lines isn't an excuse to turn in work late. Okay? And then finally, there are Canvas, MyCSN, and email responsibilities. Graded papers and class announcements, as well as other important information, will be sent to the email address that you have listed on MyCSN. So you need to make sure that that email address is current, and that it doesn't require me to join something like LinkedIn or be put on some kind of a Google circle or anything like that, because I really don't have the time to work with any kind of social media like that. So make sure that you have that email address on MyCSN updated to an account that you look at every day, because the college is also going to send you important information to that email address. Yes, some of it is, announcements for all the various events that go on, and some of those might take up space in your mailbox that you wish they didn't send, but I think they also send you things like financial aid information and grades and so forth to that email address. So you always want to make sure that email address is up to date. Now, if you change the address on MyCSN, first of all, you have to do that yourself. Unfortunately, I can't do that for you because it would mean being able to get into your account, and of course, I can't do that. But you do have to email me your new address, because I keep a separate list of all of students' email addresses, so I don't have to go to MyCSN and look it up. I have an easier way to look it up. And if you don't let me know that you changed email addresses, you might not get emails that I send to you personally. You'll still get all the emails that I send out to the entire class if you change it on MyCSN, but you won't get your papers back. And of course you want to get your papers back with a grade on it, right? So make sure if the account on MyCSN is not an account you check every day, go into MyCSN and change it to an account you check every day, and send me, from an account other than Canvas, an email telling me that you've changed your email address and what your new email address is. Okay? So that's what you have to do on MyCSN. I work 7 days a week, as most professors have to, including Thanksgiving and spring breaks. And I may send you emails during Thanksgiving and spring break. And if it's an email, for example, saying that I didn't get an exam paper and you have 24 hours to turn it in, and you don't check your email, well, you can't turn it in. So always check your email every single day, Sunday through Saturday, even during Thanksgiving and spring breaks. Okay? In terms of emails you send to me, I will make every effort to get back to you within 24 hours. The first thing I do every morning when I get up is check my email and get back to students who have emailed me. I reply to students before I even look at anything else. And I also am online much of the day and will get back to you as quickly as I can. And if I don't have an answer for you, if it's something that I have to track down, if you're asking me something about how to withdraw from a class or how to do something else that I'm not familiar with, I will at least send you an email letting you know that I got your message and that I'm working on getting an answer for you. So you should get a reply from me within 24 hours. Now, it states very specifically right here, so I'm going to say it again, I don't check Canvas email. I don't work with Canvas email. I try not to work with Canvas any more than I absolutely have to, because it's a glitchy program that doesn't work as well as I wish it would. So email me from an account other than Canvas at deborah.oakey@csn.edu. Okay? Now, your grades will be posted to the Canvas gradebook, which I use. But one thing you definitely want to do, ignore those to-do lists the Canvas puts together, especially in terms of due dates, because they get them wrong as often as they get them right, from what students tell me. Certainly don't submit anything through those to-do lists. Okay? Everything you need to know and all the drop boxes you need and links to anything you need, everything you need for a week will be on that weekly assignment list. And that's where you need to go to complete the work, get the due dates, turn things in. Everything on those pages is correct. Okay? We can't, as professors, we don't even see the to-do lists that are generated for you. So we don't know what they say. We certainly can't correct them. And you don't want to miss turning in a paper because you paid attention to a deadline on the to-do list as opposed to the real deadline. Okay? So just completely ignore those to-do lists. I don't even know why Canvas bothers with them, because from what students tell me, they're wrong as often as they're right. So make sure you would just ignore those. Okay, I think that pretty much covers the important points on the syllabus. As I said, you need to read the syllabus and study it all the way through, because everything in it applies to you personally. So make sure that you review it on your own. And if you have any questions, don't fail to email me from an account other than Canvas at deborah.oakey@csn.edu. Now, I know that you're already getting sick of hearing that, and you're going to hear it at the end of every video all semester long. And eventually you're going to wonder, why does she keep saying that? Does she think we're stupid? No, I don't think you're stupid. But even after going over this on video after video, every week, I still have people as late as the last full month of school try to email me through Canvas. And I don't know why, because I say this so many times that I swear you're going to hear it in your sleep at night. Or when you can't go to sleep, it'll probably keep playing over and over your head as some kind of a nightmare situation. But do make sure that you email me from an account other than Canvas. It is very important that I get your emails because I want to work with you. I care as much about students in online classes as I did when I was teaching live. And I want to work with you and answer your questions individually as much as you want me to. And I want to hear from you, and I want to talk to you. It's very, very important to me that you know how to get in touch with me and that you know that I'm always here for you, because I am. I will help you any way I possibly can. But you do have to email me, well, you know, from an account other than Canvas, right? Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this presentation. Do make sure you go over the syllabus, as I've said several times now. I hope you have a really good day today. I hope you have some time to enjoy yourself, and I really hope that you enjoy this class. We do read some pretty interesting things, and we can get into some interesting discussions on the discussion board because, yeah, I throw in my 2 cents worth every now and then, too. As you'll find out, I am not hesitant to talk. In fact, I talk too much quite often, so I can very seldom resist throwing in a comment now and then on the discussion boards, especially if somebody brings up something that's really interesting, or if nobody brings up something that I think you should all know for the exam, I'll add that. But I want to hear back from you as well. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know each and every one of you to the degree that you will allow me to. And I hope we have a really good semester. I'm looking forward to a good semester, and I hope you are too. We'll talk again shortly.